Welcome to the Unit 6 Day 1 video. Go ahead, pause the video, work out this warm-up problem, or all you have to do is graph the sketch or sketch a graph of that polygon. When you're done, unpause it just to make sure that you got the polygon in the right spot. So 1, 3, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. 1, 3 is right there. That is my point A. B is at 5, 3. Which is going to be right there. C is at -1, +8. And D is at -4, +2. So if I were to connect these, just got to make sure I go in the same order that I was given those points. And I get that right there. That is a quadrilateral. It's not one of the ones we talked about in the last chapter, but it is a quadrilateral with 4 sides. Now, the reason we had to graph for our warm-up is because this next chapter is going to be a lot of graphing and making sure we get points in the exact right position. For today, we're going to start by talking about what a transformation is, and then we'll talk about one specific type. So a transformation, we are just taking one object, one set of points, and changing it somehow. So we have two parts. We have a pre-image and an image. So the pre-image is the before the transformation, and the image is after. So I usually think of this as like those weight loss commercials where you have one person with the before picture and then they do the magical treatment and they have the after picture. Okay, that after is just called the image. The before picture they call the pre-image. And we denote this on our graph by using points like A, and then we say this is A prime. So we start off with point A and then it moves. So this is now where A ends up, but to make sure that we see the difference in the picture, we put a little apostrophe there to make sure that we know that that's not the original point A, that's where point A ended up after the transformation. So the first transformation that we are going to talk about is a translation. So translation, this is the same thing if you've ever talked about slide flips and turns. A translation is a slide. We are moving. We are sliding a point over. We use the coordinate notation to represent these translations. And our coordinate notation says we're taking point x, y, and we're going to x plus some number, y plus some number. This could be x minus a, could be y minus a, y minus b, could be plus or minus. We are adding or subtracting something from each of the x and y values. In a shape, you're going to have more than one point. You are going to follow the exact same rule for each of the points in the shape to get your image. All right, and this type of translation, this type of transformation, the translation is called an isometry. You'll also use the word isometric from time to time. Isometric, you might also hear it called rigid motion. Okay, all that means is the pre-image and image are congruent. So the shape you start with is the same exact thing, same measurements, same everything as the shape you end up with. Okay, if you slide a chair across the room, you are still having a chair. That's an isometry. It's an isometric transformation. All right, so now we're actually going to use the math. We've talked about a few vocab terms, so we're actually going to use this. This is something that it's going to be so easy to start with that it's going to lull you into a false sense of security where you're going to make mistakes. Okay, you got to make sure you're paying attention to the details because I can change like 2 words in the directions and it has the exact opposite answer as what you were hoping for. All right, so if we are given the pre-image and we want to find the image, so we just take the number we are given and we place it in for x and for y. So 5, 8 goes to 5 plus 3, 8 minus 8, which is 8, 0 for your final answer for number 1. You take the x value, which is first, and add 3 to it. Take the y value, which is second, and subtract 8. So for number 2, we go from 2, 4 to 2 plus 3, comma 4 minus 8, which is 5, -4. In number 3, we go to negative 2 plus 3, 3 minus 8, which is going to be 1 comma negative 5. And then the last one, 12, 12, goes to 12 plus 3, 12 minus 8, which is 15 comma 4. You're doing the exact same thing. So if these 4 points represented the 4 corners of a quadrilateral, we move them all 3 units to the right and then 8 units down. That's what this plus x plus 3 says. We move 3 to the right, and y minus 8, move 8 units down. And now I said that they're going to lull you into a false sense of security, where basically all that I changed in this set is I'm given the image and I'm asking you to find the pre-image, meaning this piece is what happened after. That's our after picture. So we need to go back. So if we need to go back, it means we have to do the opposite of what is happening in here. All right? So if I want to go from x minus 2 to y plus 3 back to xy, what I need to do is going to be 4 plus 2 y, in this case y is 4, I should say, minus 3, which would give us 6, 1. That is going to be our answer. So just to double check, make sure if I plug this thing back into the original transformation, the original translation, if I do 6 minus 2, I get 4. If I do 1 plus 3, I get 4. So the mistake that people are going to make is they're just going to see this translation written right here. They're not going to read the rest of these words, and they're just going to do 4 minus 2 and 4 plus 3 to get their answer. So make sure you're paying attention to if I give you the pre-image or if I give you the image. So for number 2, we have to do the opposite thing again. So it's going to be 5 plus 2, and then negative 3 minus 3. So we get 7, negative 6. In number 3, we have to do 8 plus 2 and 2 minus 3 to get 10, negative 1. And I haven't said this, but make sure, since these are ordered pairs, that you are having the parentheses around them. If you don't have the parentheses, you're stating that this is a list of numbers instead of a set of ordered pairs, and mathematically those things are different. So now I've got negative 2 plus 2 and 6 minus 3, which gives me 0, 3. And notice what I'm saying, I do the opposite of what's happening in here. If I had a negative number like I did in number 4 and like I did in number 2, that negative number still exists. I'm only changing the sign in front of those two highlighted pieces. Okay, and now I'm giving you both the pre-image and the image and having you find the translation. So I'm giving you the before picture, the after picture, and saying what changed. Okay, there's kind of a few ways you can look at doing this. You can look at adding or subtracting. Really doesn't make a difference. But if I say I'm giving you the pre-image and the image, the order always is going to be pre-image, image. The only time it wouldn't be is if I said given the pre-image and image, and then in the problem it's like image 1721, pre-image 2136. Okay, if it doesn't specify, I'm going to give you the pre-image first. All right, so the way I write this, the rule always starts off with XY, and then I have to come up with what happened. All right, so to get from 17 to 21, I had to add 4 to X. To get from 21 to 36, I had to add 15 to Y. That's my answer. All right, that whole thing. I'm going to write down a few different things that I've seen students try in the past, and I'm going to tell you why they're all incorrect. So I've seen a lot of students just write this right here. This is wrong. The reason this is wrong is because you are not giving any transformation. You are just saying, hey, you're adding 4 and adding 15 to some number, but you're not specifying where you started. Okay? This says I started at this point, 1721, and then I moved to this next point. You are not giving a start and a stop, so that's why this one is wrong. I've also seen students who remember, okay, I need to do that arrow thing, and then they write plus 4 plus 15. This is also wrong, because what this is saying is that you are taking the point xy, whatever it is, and then you are sending it to the point 415, because plus 4 is a number, plus 15 is a number. You're not sending every single point to 415, so that's why that one is wrong. So make sure that you have xy in the first piece, then an arrow, and then an x plus or minus a number, and a y plus or minus a number. Okay, so I got this plus 4 plus 15 just by saying, oh, 17 plus 4 is 21, 21 plus 15 is 36. Maybe that doesn't come across super fast to you. That's okay, because another way you can do this is by subtracting. So I need to go from this number to that number. So that'd be 4 minus 2. Well, that gives you 2. And then if I did from this number to that number, that's 2 minus 4, gives you negative 2. So I'm going to have x plus 2, y minus 2. Whatever the sign was here for the x part, I should have done that in different colors probably. So this was all the blue. So when I subtract these two from the second thing to the first, that sign is what goes with the x. When I subtract the second minus the first for the y's, whatever sign that is, which in this case was a minus, goes with the y. So I'm going to do that subtraction probably a little bit nicer to see this time. I'll highlight a little bit more, a little more in your face of what's happening and why it's happening. So I'm going to take that image piece, 0. I'm going to subtract the pre-image piece. 0 minus negative 4 is positive 4. So this becomes x plus 4. Because this is a positive 4, that is a plus 4. If I do the same thing here, I would do negative 5 minus 6, which is negative 11. That gives me y minus 11. Okay, minus 11, minus 11. Or like I said, for some of these, you might be able to just look at it. Like number 1 was easy to look at. Number 4, there's some negatives involved, and usually when there's negatives involved, people make mistakes. But I'm going to just set the thing up right away and say, I don't know what I'm going to fill in here yet, but I know I fill in something. So to get from negative 3 to 8, 8 minus negative 3 is like plus 11. To get from negative 4 to negative 8, that's negative 8 minus negative 4, which is like plus a positive 4. It's y minus 4. All right, so here's the spot for you to write a summary of what we talked about in this lesson and any questions you may have. Go ahead and work on the homework that's in your OneNote. We'll talk a little bit more about translations in the day 2 notes. I hope everybody has a great day.